everyone, welcome to another open house, the Halloween edition. Fair is close to Halloween, and I wanted to do something Halloween-like. So I figured, hey, why not go back to this Raider build and do something with that. This location is located really close to the Warwick homestead and basically directly across from the Northern Star ship. I'm not really sure why I picked this location. I think I liked this road here leading up to it, and I definitely wanted to build something on the water. I had seen another location that was, I guess, more of a fortress type thing on a barge. So that's where the idea came from, is I wanted to build some kind of fort on a barge, and it basically grew and turned into this big monstrosity here, which is the Raider base that I'm going to show you today. First off the bat, I wanted to make it very Raider-like. Lots of spikes, lots of barbed wire, more of a menacing look to go along with the whole Raider idea. And it's also something I don't normally build. Most of my builds are either, pretty pre-war, retro modern look, or, some of my lore builds are kind of junky, but not necessarily Raider or gunner or anything like that. So this is kind of the first build I've done in the Raider style, which I'm actually kind of surprised, because there are a lot of objects to build with that really give it that, kind of menacing Raider look to it. First thing I'd like to start out with is this little spike pad thing here. I thought it'd be kind of cool to add in some of these right here before you walk into the entrance. So I guess the idea is, if you're dumb enough to walk across this, you would get the spikes. So as I said, originally I wanted to have this on a barge, and I wanted some kind of walk across bridge type thing that was, hand built, leading over to the Raider base. And I came up with this thing, which is actually a semi-trailer. And originally I did have it as kind of more of like a wood bridge, but I thought it might be cool to use things that you would find in the wasteland. So for example, that semi-trailer there is what makes up the crossing path here over to the barge area. And then put some wood and spikes on top of that, just to give it a little more fortification, and of course the barbed wire. So as I said, I wanted to make this very hand-built looking, so I wanted to use various wood textures and wood pallets or things like that. Something you might actually see if you're trying to build something here in the wasteland. And of course, lots of fire, flame, and torches. Before I go inside too much, I want to show you a little more of the outside. I wanted to establish this outside area, which kind of took a while to come up with or build, because as I was saying earlier, I kind of built as I went, and I just kept adding on stuff. So this little bridge going across to the main barge there is pretty much what I started with, and I was just going to build a small little encampment or kind of base on there, and it just started growing by adding in the bus there. I thought that'd be a cool way to have a fortification type thing even on top that area there. And then adding in the barbed wire and stuff. That came more towards the end, once I figured out what I was establishing in the base. But because it is this raider look, it was kind of fun to build because there really is no limitations when it comes to, I think, when it comes to building raider type stuff, because it's just so slapped together with whatever you can find, and anything to keep people out, or scare them off, whatever they're doing. But all the spikes, barbed wire, very raider like. So this is pretty heavily fortified here in the front, as you can see. Not so much from the back if you're coming from the water, but never got around to completely encircling this camp. I was kind of thinking about maybe expanding it over in the back here and making more of a reverse wall back there, but I just decided to end the build where it was. I think it still works as it is. Let's go back around here on the front again. You see some more views of the camp here from front. A lot of tugboat cabins and things like that used for the actual fortress. Thought it'd be a good idea to use some of those. Just something you could gather from around and maybe put it on the barge there. And that's kind of where it started when it came to the main cabin here, which is the starting of the barge. Using this tugboat or ship house, like the ship wheelhouse or whatever you want to call these things, I thought worked great for the entrance here. And this would just be kind of like a random area, maybe to work on power armor. So a small little garage, tools, maybe some ammo and whatnot. Weapons area. And that would lead out to the barge itself. So I basically put that on top of the barge just because I thought it was a great way to use that. And it also has the upper area, which I added on as well. And we'll get up there. But lots of stuff to look at here, so I don't even know where to start or where to begin. But this is all the barge, and my idea was to have the barge the main area, and then leading off of the barge, we have these little walk paths there, say for that one going out there, this one going down to kind of like a med torture area, another cabin living area. And over here would be, more like the power. Another living space. And a lot of the generators. I wanted to add in the generators, not that they're necessarily actually powering anything, because I do have the wireless mod power system, which is in the main, tugboat cabin area. But I think it just looks a little more realistic here if they have all the generators running all the power. And I even added in, if we come out here, all the wiring coming across, just to give it a little more believability as far as the power and all the random cables hanging around.
One issue I do come up with a lot, especially when I'm returning to a build that I haven't been to in a while, is a lot of the ambient lights or lights I put in, like the colored lights and even the invisible lights up above, that kind of help light up my build. I find that those are no longer working, or they're off. And sometimes I go back to my wireless control box thing and I turn it on and off, and sometimes that will turn things on. But I have noticed that like some of the colored lights, I have to go back around and click on them and release them in build mode just to kind of turn them back on, which kind of sucks, especially when I have so many lights. And as you see through this tour, some things are lit nicely and others are not. And the ones that are not are probably because of these lights that just mysteriously decide to not turn on. That's kind of a problem, especially for the ones that are in set that I hide into an object. So I kind of lose the ability to light things up So some of these shots will switch back and forth with that.
So that would be kind of like the power room here. And you can see some of the wood planking, pallets, things like that, making up that pathway going across. Lookout posts here. Let's just go down here real quick. So this would be like the torture area, maybe med area if they need it. Nothing too elaborate, pretty basic. And also the cell here. Doesn't look like a very comfortable place. And this little sand island was here when I first started building. And I think I was just going to have a little lookout here or something like that, and decided to add this in. And it basically turned into the med kind of torture area, along with this jail cell. And building all this to keep in theme with everything else, just wood, scraps, things you could find around to build either like this little dock or ramp here leading back up to our main barge. This is just another living area, kind of a single bed type thing. Again, that's like a bridge type entrance leading off of the barge here. Little cooking area, maybe some water system there, and more furniture and things like that, just to give it a kind of lived-in look, Raider style. Workstations mixed in with the guard posts here, scraps, ammunition. Let's head back over here, go across this other bridge here. This is another lookout area. Chem station area, work area, a lookout area. There's the front, see across there to the bridge leading across. So just stuff everywhere, really. I tried to pack it in as much as I could to give it that very junkyard style look. Let's go upstairs here. Added in that ladder in this just to try and get up here, because there really wasn't a way to get up. I thought this would be a cool hangout area here. Added in that roof and stuff. Pretty good vantage point from up here. More of an outdoor hangout place here for them. Overlooks the main entrance area there for any kind of ambush. You also see that area up there. We'll go over and check that out too. So had to add in this stair to go over the railing because there were railings around this whole area, so it's kind of hard to figure out how I was going to get up here, so I had to build up and over the railing, which makes this a little awkward, but I think it works pretty good. And then adding in this ladder staircase here, you don't really notice that you're actually going up and over the railing. Let's go back over here and go across this one. This is another living area and actually a lookout area. Small, but serves its purpose. Just a nice little sleeping area, and also lookout areas on both sides. It's pretty simple, not a whole lot there. I did want to build all of these off of the barge. So almost like a spider-like legs leading out to all these different areas, lookouts and things like that. Here's another small little living area here. Once again, not much to it, but a semi-dry place to stay.
Now, as I said earlier, as I was building this, I was kind of building as I went. So I started with that main barge and just started adding to that and that expanding out. So as I mentioned, like the bridges going across to each little spot was kind of what I wanted to do. But by building as I go, I basically just add a bridge here, and I don't even know what it's going to, and then I'll build something at the end of that bridge and turn it into a room or a house. And then I'm thinking, well, what do I put in here? Maybe it's, just another place to stay, or maybe it winds up being the power generator room or something like that. That's usually how we go about it, especially with something like this where I don't really have a huge plan other than I just knew I wanted to start with a barge.
And here's the bus, which is also connected to the barge here. And I threw that in there because I thought it was a good place to shoot from and also sleep. So I got some beds here, some mattresses, and a good vantage point of that front bridge area. Also got some fortifications here up in the front windows. I don't know why these guys don't like the dock here, but these are some of the NPCs that I dropped in there. They used to be over here and up on the barge, but now they seem to find their own spot here in the water. So why don't we go up on top of the bus here. Another good lookout point. And that also leads to more guard posts looking out over here, as well as all of this section here. So pretty well fortified, pretty well defended from just about everywhere if someone were to attack. Is kind of the idea, and this would all be populated with a bunch of raiders and stuff, which, as I mentioned before, had a lot of them here, but they all seem to have wandered off. Can't seem to get my NPCs to stay on their little rugs. Not sure why that is. Maybe something to do with the mod, or... Anyways, let's head back down here. As you can see, everywhere you look, there's something. I just wanted to clutter this up with junk and give it this, a lot of barbed wire, a lot of spikes, very haphazardly made with any scrap or material you could find in the wasteland, which I think works great with the whole raider look. So that's pretty much it for this whole raider base. It looks pretty good here at night. As you can see, I did a lot of lighting, added in a lot of the flame, and I think it gives it a very cool ambient look to it. A lot darker, and the spotlights also give it a pretty cool look as well. So hope you enjoyed the quick little tour here of my raider base, and I like the way it turned out, and it definitely inspires me to maybe try and make another one, maybe a larger one, or something obviously on land or a different location. I think for this little barge type build, it was pretty fun to do and come up with different ways of creating either livable spaces or lookouts or guard posts, things like that. And as I said, you can pretty much do anything you want because it's just so scrappy, and it doesn't matter what material you're using. It all makes sense that you just slap it together, and that's what it is. So I hope you enjoyed the tour. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for watching. Until the next one, keep building.
I don't want to die. Ah! 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 Ah!